to the show. Gather round, listen close. We got George, Brock, and J.A. bringing you the most NFL podcast. It's about to go down. Three amigos ready to run this town. Welcome to the Ball Studio, where the fun begins. George, Brock, and Jay talking NFL with their friends. So grab a drink, sit back, let's dive into the show. The Ball Studio, fam, we're ready to go. Let's go.
Oh, welcome back to the Vault Studio podcast We just had week 8 of the NFL season. Let me introduce my co-host. He's got one big leg, James Arthur. Welcome back from Bali, mate. And the other person you were hearing snoring into the mic during the intro is the great George Kadaris.
I was laughing at you. You fucking
I was laughing at you because it sounded like you were snoring in the mic.
I was laughing at you. Man.
It was fucking unreal.
Are we talking about the foot?
We can talk about the foot.
Yeah.
I got a foot infection. You can probably see it on the camera now. It's very, very
you see that shit
swollen.
from the moon next to the
The
next
camera's
to the
not doing
Berlin
it
Wall,
justice. I might be sick. I might go get a tetanus shot on the way home after sitting next to him so close.
Just be safe. You never know what's going to happen in Bali.
What happens in Bali stays in Bali.
No, I'm telling everyone. It's a cesspool of a country. If you want to hear more, tune into the Package and the P podcast tomorrow night. We'll be joined by George, yours truly. So yeah, tune into that tomorrow night. I'm going to go a bit in depth on the holiday and what went on.
I like your use of the word cesspool.
Thanks.
It is a cesspool. It's
Thanks
the
for
only
the
way to
invite.
describe that country. I did invite you before. You were on the last one.
No, I wasn't.
Or the one before. God.
I actually didn't realize you guys did one after me, but let's shout out to the sponsors, Sporting Globe. George,
Yes, Sporting Globe.
That's our sponsor, George, Sporting Globe.
That was my favourite part of listening back to the show last week for you two. And great job by you two boys, in
Thank you.
fairness. It was
Thank
very
you.
good.
It wasn't my
The start was-
we started slow, but I think we finished strong.
You did, after not remembering our only sponsor's name.
Yeah, it wasn't my best performance.
And
Sorry, Dave.
It is a hard name to remember, the Sporting Globe. Like,
No,
it's one of the
actually
tough
very
ones.
easy. I just had a moment. I don't know what the hell happened.
It was very
Shout out
fun.
to the Sporting Globe. Shout out to Dave. He's a great man, and they do the Red Cup betting Sunday night.
It
Tune
was a
in.
good show Sunday night. Brock was in a car, the back of a car,
Yep.
then had a car accident. He wasn't driving. He was in the back.
I wasn't driving. Sober. Should have been driving.
You shouldn't have been driving.
I should have been driving. I was sober.
I don't know if you were. You had empty cans in the back, which is standard for you at this point in your life.
That was the way down there. Thanks, mate.
Oh, the way down.
It was a long drive down. It's an hour and a half. Get on the socials. Vault Studio Podcast, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok. You'll see us going viral on TikTok. James does a great job with the clips.
Yes, great job with the clips.
All old
And
clips of the moment from
merch
last
coming
week.
soon.
Yeah. Merch comes in. We'll have T-shirts in the next couple of weeks that we'll wear, and then we'll put them on sale for the boys. Can I start by giving my present I got for you guys while I was away?
Oh,
Let's do it.
Before we get into the NFL stuff, just watch your leg, George. I'm not reaching to jerk you off.
You can if you want.
I wish you would though.
All right. So I thought I better look after my boys
Here
while
we
over
go.
there.
This is going to be bad. I can already tell.
I'm excited. Is this the banner?
We have to wait and see. I wish I'd opened this before.
This is going to be some caricatures. I can already tell.
Thrilling.
All right. So I'll get one at a time.
Oh.
All right. That one's... This one is for Brocky,
Oh, wow.
which is...
Holy shit.
Fuck, that's not on the wall.
Bro,
hand-painted Lamar Jackson
That's fucking fantastic.
portrait, and this one's for you, Georgie boy. Open that and have
can
a little look.
I unfur this?
Yeah,
Jesus. That's going next to my Lamar Jackson
the Philly
jersey.
special.
Philly special.
Dude, that's sick.
I told you you'd freak.
Man, I fucking love this.
That's unreal. You'll see that next to my
Shout out
Lamar
to the
Jackson
camera,
jersey.
Georgie boy.
Yes.
So if you want to have a look, jump on the video, Spotify or YouTube. Hop on there. You can see the present I got
Philly
for the boys.
special. That's the play that won the Philly Eagles the Super Bowl.
Yep. So it's the same dude that drew my one that's on the wall, the
That's
Dallas
fucking
Cowboys
incredible.
one. Luca. I found him. Sophie shot him a message and said, hey, want to get some more done? Shot him a message and got him to draw a couple.
Jeez, you're going to make me cry, James.
No, I'm not going to cry. Like, relax. But this is pretty
I'll
sick.
fucking cry. That's fucking unreal.
What do you reckon, boys?
I think this is absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much, bro. I love you. Man. Thank you.
Anytime, mate.
That will
Anytime.
be next to the Lamar Jackson jersey. I'll hang this one up correctly.
Yeah, well, if you want to get it done, just go to a framer and they'll do what they've done with mine, where they actually stretch it right out and put it on a board. And
Incredible.
yeah, so that's for
Hey,
the boys.
fantastic. The quality of workmanship is unreal here, man.
So what I did is I
Great
basically
country.
found 2 pictures and just gave him the pictures, and he just drew that by hand from it.
Shout out to
Luca.
Luca.
Luca's
Shout
his
out
name.
Luca in Bali.
Yep. Absolutely.
International.
That's sick. Thank you so much, bro.
I'll actually tag him in the episode because he got
Instagram?
he's got Instagram and he does it. I'm thinking of trying to have a chat with him about getting, if other people want them, is working out a bit of an arrangement with him, whereas I can get him to draw them and we can sell them over here to people to help
Love
him
it.
out because he's a ripper dude.
Yeah.
So
Shout out. That's unreal. Thank you so much, man.
That's fucking
All love.
incredible.
you boys are very, very welcome. Only
All
for
love.
my boys.
We'll post that on the social. We'll get a photo of us holding them tonight. We'll post them on our socials.
Love it.
Yep. Beautiful.
Perfect. Let's get stuck into the show.
Hey, it's been some good games this week.
Yeah, absolutely.
Bills win with a walk-off field goal against divisional rivals.
Big win by them. Like,
Fucked my bet.
I almost feel sorry for the Dolphins the last couple of weeks because with Tua back,
They
they're
look so
certainly
much
a better,
better, don't
team.
they? Yeah, they really do.
They're
That's
a
what I wanted
much,
to touch
much
on.
better team, and I think the Bills are a really good team. So the fact that they lost to Arizona last week on a last-second field goal,
Yes.
and Arizona are currently winning the West.
Yes.
They're 5-3, so they're actually a pretty.
They beat up
by
the,
record. They're a good. The Bears. They pumped the
Bears,
Bears.
yeah.
So they're a pretty good team as well, by the looks of it. And
So they've lost of walk-off field goals to two pretty good teams 2
Yeah.
weeks in a row. Yeah.
but the problem
Pretty
is that
stiff.
the losses without Tua are going to kill them because their
Yes.
season's done now. They
Yes.
can't make the playoffs.
Yes.
But I think they're a lot better. But this is just Josh Allen taking over games.
Yeah.
Tua had a
Weddle
fantastic
hurt
game.
as well. Tobias Hamlin took another soul.
Did
Oh,
he?
really?
Yeah, he got blocked backwards
Yeah.
and just took out Weddle's ACL
Oh,
going backwards. So
wow.
the Grim Reaper just striked again on him.
Or Waddle, you mean?
Waddle, yeah.
Waddle, and I think he came back Waddle because he scored the game tying touchdown.
Right.
Waddle, but yeah, no, Hamlin. We've said this before. Hamlin is actually a really good player.
He's a decent player. Yeah.
This is a guy that before he had the death on the field and resuscitation on the field, he was barely on a roster.
Yeah.
And last year it was kind of like a bit of a joke, like this guy he's only on the roster because of what happened to him.
I think that was last year, but obviously this off-season they thought, oh, this kid can actually play. Like, we're
Yeah.
going to keep him around. Yeah.
He's a really good player. And you know what? I actually feel really proud for him. I'm really happy.
Tua
for
had a
him.
fantastic game, man. He played really well.
Tua's a
Tua
good
was
player.
really good.
You can finally bet on Tobias Hamlin to win comeback player of the year now. He's $8.50.
So is he allowed to win it?
Yeah, absolutely can.
I think he should win it this year. If he's going to be a Pro Bowler, most likely at minimum, he should win it this year.
Sure.
100% he should be the comeback player because it's not going to be Aaron Rodgers.
Kirk Cousins is favourite with $2. Joe Burrow is $5.60 and J.K. Dobbins is $5.90.
Kirk
Yeah.
Cousins coming off the Achilles.
Achilles as well.
Kirk's been very good. Kirk's a good player.
Kirk's been good, but he's in a great situation as well. And
Yeah,
and
no
he's a
doubt.
pocket quarterback. He's not a rolled out quarterback like
No doubt.
Aaron Rodgers was.
No doubt.
So he never really relied on his movement,
Yep.
of
I agree.
movement of pocket. He's just a passing quarterback.
I agree.
Yeah. No, I think, but yeah, just back on the Bills. In that division, sewn up now. They're 4 games clear of that division. They're winning the East now. For them, it's just about trying to steal that 1 seed from the Chiefs, which is going to be tough. But
Yeah, especially with the refs helping him out. Yep.
yeah, we'll get to that later in the show. But yeah, I think the Bills are just like we said this that they would have to be so Josh Allen reliant, and they have been. And up until now, he has not missed a beat. He's a leader. The players love him. They traded for Cooper. Cooper didn't play this game, which hurt them. But the 2 tight ends are good. James Cook's running the ball really well. Their O-line's good. Defensively, they'll get Matt Milano back. Maybe not next week, but the week after.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah.
So they've still got
That's a
Matt
big in.
Milano to
That's a
come
big in,
back.
yeah.
So they're going to get better defensively, and they're not a bad defense at all. Like only giving 27 points up to a pretty high-powered.
It's clear though that Tua is the
Dolphins
key to that offense, though. It's that's clear now.
Whether it's Tua or just a competent quarterback is the key. Like I think every team needs a competent quarterback, but Tua is obviously extremely comfortable in that system. He's extremely comfortable with Mike McDaniels.
And
Mike
running
McDaniels,
that system, yeah.
yeah, Mike McDaniels is very comfortable with him. All of a sudden, they can run the ball a bit better with Tua in there, which isn't because he's changing the way they run the ball. It's because defenses have to go, well, he's going to throw on us.
gonna
Yeah.
throw it,
We now have to actually cover Tyreek Hill again because he's
Yeah.
going to burn us.
Yep.
He had a 100-yard game. So it's a shame for the Dolphins. I think if you're a Dolphins fan, though, you can chalk this season up to being unlucky. You lost Tua. Get a low, maybe a top 10 pick, probably a top 10 pick, definitely a top 15 pick in the draft. Get another talented guy in your room. And
So should they be trying to win games? And we're going
No.
to talk about the Cowboys doing something similar in a minute.
no, they shouldn't
Should they be
win.
trying to? No, they shouldn't be, really, right?
They're 4 games out of the division. The AFC playoffs, like I'm pretty sure the 7 seed right now is 5-3.
Right.
So
Yeah.
they're 3 games out of the 7 seed. I just don't think they can make that up.
5-4. Denver's 5-4.
5-4. So they've got to catch. They've got to catch 3 games in half a season. I know it doesn't sound like a lot in 8
No,
games,
no,
but
it's a lot. No,
It's a lot of games.
You
Especially
almost have to win every game.
Indy's 4-5 and Cincy are 4-5 as well.
Yeah, like what's Miami's record? 3-6,
3-6, 2-6.
2-6. Like they're just. I just
Nah,
don't
they're
think,
done.
I just don't think they're in trouble, which is a shame because they probably would have been good this year if not Lamar.
So are they forked? We'll start
Yeah,
forking
I'm
teams.
pretty comfortable forking the Miami
Yeah.
Dolphins at
I
this
think
point.
so too.
Um,
If anything, like we said, they should be actively not trying to win to get as high a draft pick as possible.
yeah, I think so. But I
'Cause
think,
if you add another talented guy to that team, like if they can draft in the top 10 and add like a top tier tackle or something, like they're going to be really good.
yeah, I think that should be the goal. But I think their roster's probably too talented to not win
Yeah,
Another
to
4
accidentally
games.
lose. Yeah,
That's
because they're going to play the Jets, they're going to play the
Pats.
Patriots.
Yeah.
Like they're probably going to win those
That's
games.
probably 2 wins already. Yeah,
Yeah.
fair.
So let's talk about Lamar. Perfect game against the Broncos.
Right.
I just want to start on the Broncos before we get to the man and the Ravens. But the Broncos have had. I don't think the Broncos are much better a team than the Cowboys, the Giants, the Niners at this point, the Seahawks at this point. I don't think they're much better than any of them. I think they're probably worse than all of them. But their schedule has been so easy that it's allowed them to win
soft.
5 games. And that's because they were so bad last year. So
Yep.
that's what happens.
That's what
They've
happens.
got a very easy schedule, which is kind of, I think, miraged their ability. And I've said this about Bo Nix. He's fun. I actually have enjoyed watching him play football. He flies around. He's energetic. He's tough. He does a lot of things well, but he can't get the ball downfield. And when you play good teams like the Ravens, they basically said, throw it downfield, Bo. And he can't.
Yeah,
He
no.
just doesn't. And will that develop? Potentially. Like, I think it could happen.
Sure.
It doesn't happen often. Josh Allen's kind of the one precedent we have of that actually happening, which is
I
very
think
rare.
he's the exception, not the rule.
I think so too. So I just think like Bo Nix, can they work a team and be a good team? Their defense is very good at Denver, which then helps Bo Nix.
Sure.
They run the ball fairly well, which helps Bo Nix. He runs the ball well, which helps the offense.
Yep.
Can Peyton design an offense where he's a really good quarterback? I don't know. I'm still yet to see it, but he is
Still got to
been
be able to make
surprising.
reads and make throws. Like that's what being a quarterback is. Like you got to be able to read the defense on the line, change the play if you need to.
Yeah.
You got to be able to do all those
Can
things.
Bo Nix against a good team in a playoff game have a game-winning drive? I don't think he can.
Not right now. No way.
I don't think he can.
No
right
way.
now. And they're not an untalented offense. The Broncos. They're not a bad. They're not. It's not like they've got bad skill positions.
they're a very decent offense.
yeah, they're
just-
good.
Their defense just outshines their offense so much.
Yeah.
And if you look at the games they've won, they haven't actually beaten any good teams. So,
No.
like, last week they beat the Panthers. They beat the Saints before that.
Yep.
Lost to the Chargers. Beat the Raiders. Beat the Jets by a point.
Yep.
Beat Bucks third game of the year and lost to Steelers and to the Seahawks.
Yeah, and they
the
beat the
first 2
Jets
games
in
of the
that torrential rain game
Yeah.
where
The ball
you know,
couldn't get thrown.
they couldn't throw the ball until the second half, and then the Jets, and just find a way to lose those games at the
Yeah.
moment. But yeah, I just don't think the Broncos are a very good team. Will they be a playoff team? Can they steal a 7 seed potentially? And that would be great for the fans. And if they do make the playoffs, awesome. But I just don't think they're really a playoff team, in fairness to them.
No.
So on the other side, the Ravens
But
are.
that's okay though. They're because they're clearly like building their program.
Yeah, I
and
like
that's
Sean
okay.
Payton. He's a good head coach. He's going to build the team right. Patrick Surtain is such a fucking good cornerback. Like,
Yeah.
he's a game-changing defender, which is very rare at the cornerback position. There's just not many that change the game like he does.
Yeah, like Revis and those kind
Yeah,
of guys.
he's becoming one of those dudes now, like
Sherman
his old
in his
man was.
prime, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like he's becoming one of those just top tier elite cornerbacks.
Yep.
But my fear with that is, and we've discussed this before, that the window to having a top tier cornerback, you've probably got
3 to
4 or
4
5
years, yeah.
4, 5 years at the max,
Max,
right?
yeah.
Before they start to drop off, and he's probably in this. Maybe we could say he's his first year of being this dominant. So he's probably only got 5 years left. You
I
need
reckon
to work
that's
this
just being
all out.
generous.
Yeah, I'd
5
say
years,
you need to work this all out pretty quickly and build around him, get some pass rushes, which Peyton's good at. He can build teams. So
Yeah, I'm not sure Bonix is the answer though.
I'm still not sure either. But I will say he is fun, and I did not expect him to be this much fun. I enjoy watching him play football.
I'd need to see some big improvement in his development.
Yeah, but he's not
between
like
season to
watching. He's not like watching a Gardner Minshew where you're like,
He is what
this
he
dude's
is. Yeah.
got nothing. Like he has something that you're like, oh, if he runs with this, he's very athletic. He's tough. So I have enjoyed Bo Nix a lot. How good do we think the Ravens are?
The Ravens need to sort out their defense, and it's more their secondary they need to sort out.
Secondaries.
It's a very new secondary compared to what they have had, and like it's lacking a little bit of leadership just to get set.
Yeah.
And they're trying to do too much fancy shit, so they're not getting ready, and they're just getting burnt underneath, or they cover underneath and they get burnt over the top like the Bucks did to them as well. They just need to just sort it out. Everyone play their role. Like, they're trying to hide Roquan Smith a little bit too much. Like, is he coming? Is he not coming? Is he in pass, bro? Is he...
I don't get the Roquan Smith thing because Roquan Smith's best attribute is when you just go, you're the middle linebacker, almost do what you want. Read it and make plays.
But the last year we had Patrick Queen, who was arguably one of the best fucking wheel linebackers all year.
Yep.
Who could cover fucking... could cover a running back.
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And it was, okay, Roquan, just go rover, spot the quarterback, or go get the fucking quarterback.
Yeah.
Now we're struggling a little bit there.
Queen's been very good in Pittsburgh. It was a really good signing for them. And the Ravens couldn't afford to sign him.
We couldn't afford it.
You can't sign everyone.
No.
You can't get all pro running backs for $8 million a year. Like daring, but
The fifth fastest to...
my personal opinion on the Ravens are they're the best team in the AFC. I don't care that the Chiefs are 8-0. I don't give a shit. The Ravens, come playoff time, they are the best team in the AFC.
Yeah.
Whether they're the 1 seed or not by the end of it, they're that good.
Well,
I would not want to play them.
We're currently sitting as the 6th seed because we haven't played the Steelers yet, and we're 1-1 in our division. And the Steelers haven't played a divisional game.
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah, so Steelers-Ravens games down the stretch now will be massive.
Yeah. So
I think you play next week, don't you?
not from memory. I think we play in
Maybe
2
the
weeks'
week
time.
after. They were highlighting it the day when they were playing, but the
I'll say-
Ravens, that signing of Henry's...
There's only one thing I want to say, which
Yeah.
I've already said on this podcast.
Yeah,
I'm
what
going
is
to say
it?
it again.
Was it big dog?
If Lamar doesn't win MVP and
a
Derrick
travesty.
Henry doesn't win Offensive Player of the Year, they've lost all meaning, those awards.
I can't wait for Patrick Mahomes with 21 touchdowns, 15 interceptions,
And 3,000 yards.
and 3,000 yards, but only losing one game wins MVP
Yeah.
because his team's number one.
The fucking
seed.
joke.
He's going to throw... You got him throwing 10 more touchdowns for the year. 'Cause
Well,
he's only thrown 11 touchdowns, and he's got 9 picks already.
Yeah.
well, we can talk about the Chiefs today.
He's on Jameis Winston fucking level of fucking throwing picks at the
Jameis
moment.
out of
He's been
fucking
terrible.
stinkers.
He's been worse than Dak Prescott.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Prescott's getting
Numbers-wise,
basically annihilated for his play.
Not basically, he is getting
Yeah, and
annihilated.
Mahomes is getting praised, but that's also football. Like
Yeah.
wins and losses are such a big part of
Wins
it. I
cover
get that.
everything.
And Mahomes again today, game on the line.
Is
overtime.
that a brilliant segue?
Yeah, overtime. What does he do?
Can we
Gets a
fucking,
touchdown.
seriously, can we change the fucking overtime rules for not just for postseason, for the regular season as well?
I don't get it.
It
Did
should,
you see Baker's reaction when they won the
Yeah,
toss? He's
it
like, oh, fuck.
it should
He
not
knew.
be if you win it, score a touchdown in your first possession,
Yeah.
you win the game. Unless you win it, you score a touchdown and you get the extra 2, sure, that's game. But if you score a touchdown in your first possession, it should not automatically be game.
The biggest travesty with NFL overtime.
Oh, I 100% agree, Brock.
It's
by
the
way.
fucking
Yeah, they should change
The
that.
other
I
team
agree.
should at
Because
least
that's a
get a
coin
chance.
toss.
They
No
should
matter
just get a
what,
chance.
because this game today, Baker, they had struggled a lot of the day. Baker's missing Godwin and Mike Evans.
Yeah.
And then he puts against a good Chiefs defense. They are a
Yep.
very good
Chiefs is
defense.
good. Yep.
He has a game-tying drive with 2 minutes left, ties the game up, gets it into overtime.
Baker's
and
a
then,
baller, bro.
And
He's
then
playing
doesn't get a
really
chance
well
to touch the
this
ball. I would have loved them to score a touchdown and then be like, Baker,
Here's your chance.
let's see if you can do it.
Yeah.
And if he loses, it's almost robbing fans of like football. Like they're robbing us of an opportunity to watch Baker do something
No.
special.
Forget about the fans. You're right, but go
Yeah.
back 2 steps. It's not fair on the players. Like,
Yeah.
they need to have an opportunity.
Well, the argument is that the defense
defense have a
should be able
chance.
to stop them. But
Nah,
the
come on, it
NFL
doesn't work
is
that
so
way. Everything's geared towards the offense
yes,
now.
the
Come
NFL
on.
is so offensively driven, and late in games, it is so much harder to play defense late in the games. I don't care what anyone says. Oh, the receivers run around and the offensive line block and all that. It is so much harder to play defense when you're tired because what's something that slows down when you get tired? Reaction.
Of course.
Defense is all reaction. At least offense, when you're tired, you're out there, you're at the outside receiver spot, you're puffed out, but it's like, I got a 3-yard slant. I know what I'm doing mentally. I don't have to think about
Yeah.
it. I'm going to run 3 yards. I'm going to get my hands. I'm going to catch
And
this
just do
football.
it.
Well, did you see the Tampa D line on that overtime? They were gassed.
Yeah.
And the ball was on the 40. They were already just
Yeah.
gassed.
Well, they just played the whole game, bro.
I understand that, but they were literally like hands on knees trying to get fucking windy.
No, the other team should. I agree with you, Brock. The other team should at least get a right of reply.
Or what they should do, go to college overtime.
That's yeah.
College overtime is the greatest overtime in the history of any sport.
Yeah.
It is outstanding.
Cap. Ice hockey's pretty fucking sick.
Ice hockey's pretty cool. I agree.
Yep.
But like, go to college overtime. Go to college rules. It's so fun. It's based on red zone.
Yep.
And that's the best quarterbacks and the best defenses. The two things they hang their hats on are red zone defense, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Stopping touchdowns and getting touchdowns when your back's against the wall. So that's what college overtime does. I don't know why they don't just adopt. I know they have this like battle NFL college. Just go to it. It is so much more fun, so much more entertaining. It's more exciting.
Like,
I think they should do it.
My favorite game I've ever fucking watched was LSU versus Texas.
Yeah.
Where the fucking scores ended up being like 75 to fucking 65.
Yeah.
Happens all the
Because
time
it
in
went to
college.
fucking like 8 overtimes.
Yeah.
And they just kept scoring.
And then it's like you can't kick field goals anymore. You've got to score.
score,
Then it's
and
you've
you
got to
have
go for two. Then it's
it's fantastic.
and then yeah, it just becomes so good. It's really awesome. So yeah, I think they need to do that. But the Chiefs 8-0. It's
False start.
it was third
don't,
down.
Don't wash over on it. Don't wash it
No,
over.
no, it was a false start. 100%.
was a critical moment in the game
It's
too.
just another time where they seem to get these open hand. I think I was talking about this before the show. Do you think that the refs are also the Chiefs play in so many big moments, right? And
Yeah.
Mahomes, he's so successful because he's able to overcome the pressure, the
Capitalize on the
excitement,
big moments. He
and
does.
capitalize on
He
the
does
big
do
moments.
that. Yes.
Do you think that the refs they get these bad calls because the refs they don't know how to handle these big moments too?
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
that's their fucking job, though.
I agree,
They're human.
but it's also other quarterbacks' jobs that
Okay.
fail all the time.
That's your side of the coin. Now
Yeah.
my side of the coin. You look at that tackle. He moved before the ball snapped. That is the easiest call in football for a referee to make. That is a false start. Throw the fucking flag.
I
What are you doing?
understand the refs are fucking human, but this is where like robots are coming into baseball. They're calling fucking strikes and balls.
Sure.
Why the fuck is there not someone in the booth going, hold up, stop
Well, they
it?
do. They have New York that overrule
no.
things randomly.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It should be the whole fucking, especially for overtime or like last 2 minutes. If there's a situation like that, they go, nah, we missed a call. In the booth, it said it's a fucking false start. False start.
Okay, fine. But how do you miss that call? It's so obvious.
It's obvious, but it's also like in live, you're fucking looking down a line, or I don't want to throw a flag because if I throw a flag,
Why?
I'm wrong.
Why don't you want to throw a flag? You're there to throw a flag.
They're there to ref the game, but it's such a close call because did he go or did the ball move exact same time he went? And it's easy to see in slow mo. Yes, he went.
Well, it's
early.
very easy to see it in slow mo.
It's
In slow
really
mo, it
easy
looks
to
like he
see.
went like half a year before.
That's what I mean. But like in the live reaction, you got to remember these refs are fucking human. They have to react
He might have
to it.
blinked away. He might have looked at something else for half a second and missed it. Like, I get it, but it just seems to keep happening. Like we've had this conversation
It keeps
every
happening,
second or third
James.
week.
Yeah,
Like they keep getting the rub of the green.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
but it's all the
As I
worst.
said pre-show, I think it's just understood. Everyone's just like, no one. Just saw the boys out.
Can you take your tinfoil hat off, please?
No, it's fixed securely on my bald head. And there it shall remain.
George actually has a full head of hair. It's just the foil hat over the top of him.
That is
It's
a lie.
not like a normal like pyramid. It's like one of those Peaky Blinders hats as well.
Oh.
Let's not start pyramid schemes. We can't talk about
Hey,
pyramids.
hey, that would look tough. I reckon I might get one of them hats. Those Peaky Blind hats will look sick.
If
You definitely should.
Pyramid
If you
schemes
rock a
look great, by the way.
fucking Peaky Blinders hat.
You got to get a Peaky
That
Blinders.
would look
hat.
super tough, I reckon, man.
Yeah, no, he'd look great with the Peaky Blinders hat, wouldn't he? Do it.
10 Patreon.
You know what? I'll
10
find you one and buy
Patreons.
it.
He'll wear one.
10 patrons, you wear a Peaky Blinders hat. For
Done.
the show.
Done.
All right, done. Let's talk about Justy Herb.
Hey, he looked good. He looked real good.
Do you know what? It's fun seeing the Chargers being well coached.
Yes.
For almost the first time I can remember it.
Well, it's been a while.
Like, I know Norv Turner had a lot of success, but was he a good coach? I don't think so. But they've got a legitimate head coach now.
Yep.
That knows what he's doing.
Yep.
That was an absolute dismantling.
I'm glad that he's back in the NFL. Like,
Yeah, he's a great character.
yeah, the NFL's better with him coaching.
100%. And they're just a squeaky clean team, the Chargers. They don't make a lot
That's
of
why I put it
mistakes.
squeaky clean, man.
This is Herbert. Herbert's
That's coaching, though. That's coaching.
Herbert's numbers this season, I don't think they'll be the best of his career or anything like that. But this will be his best season as a player
Yeah.
he's ever had.
Yeah.
And the worst part is, or the best part is, whichever way you look at it, they're not even talented.
He has no talent
Yeah.
around
Their
him. yeah.
offensive line, Joe Alt is a machine. Like they are, like what a
With a capital N.
Who would have thunk he'd be such a good player?
I said it. It's
Everyone.
it's the best pick of that draft. I said
It's
it.
like, Sometimes you just got to go meat and taters and it pays off for you.
Because you got your quarterback. Just get it.
100%.
Get a meat and taters guy, bro.
So they've got him. Quinton Johnson, he had 140 yards in this game. Keep into perspective, his entire rookie season, he had 260 yards. So he's had more than half his rookie total season yards in one game.
And this offseason, everyone was calling him a bust.
Yeah, he's over 500, 600 yards for the season now. He's going to be a 1,000-yard season when it's all said and done.
Yep.
Is he a number one, knock your socks off guy? No, but they bring in another talent.
That's
and
what they
all
should
of a
be
sudden,
looking to draft.
They should draft this year. Now they can go and be like, what's the best receiver in this draft, and how do we get him?
Get him.
And then they bring in a guy like that, and they go from there.
I agree.
Dobbins again. Dobbins has been injured 3 or 4 times. He's not the best running back in the NFL, but he does the goods. He does everything well. He pass protects, he catches the ball, and he runs the ball as well. He's tough.
Very tough.
So he fits that system.
Yep.
He will run behind those
Couple
big boys.
TDs on the weekend.
Like, I think it was last week, their center, I sent it to you boys while I was away, that D lineman was trying to wrap up Herbert's leg.
Absolute dog move.
Like, that's a center you want.
Yeah, man, you want a dog, bro.
That is a guy you want. Bozeman is a guy you want playing center for you because I can tell you, Herbert knows one thing, that dude, no matter what happens, is going to have his back every single time. And that's the culture that the Chargers are breeding.
That's coaching. That's Harbaugh.
100%. And Winston, what do you have, 4 interceptions? He could have easily...
He had 3. He could have 6.
He got Winston doing Winston things.
Yeah.
This is what annoys that he played so well against the
Yeah,
Ravens.
we've seen this movie before.
He got bailed out against the Ravens because
Exactly.
he
That's
threw
what I
it.
mean.
Kyle Hamilton dropped the easiest pick of his career, which would have been a pick 6, or it wouldn't even have to been a pick 6. He could have picked it, ran 10 yards, slid, game over.
Yeah, it's game
like
over.
it was game over, and he just dropped it. Like it's those things that happen for Winston. Is Winston a starting quarterback? No, he's just a fun guy that you can throw in if you need to.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's not the answer for the Browns. I don't know what the Browns answer.
We've seen the Jameis Winston movie before, but it's still fun to watch.
It is fun, and he's so like, what's the word? Like he's such a character.
Yes.
Can you imagine in 5 years' time when he's like broadcasting for someone? It's going to be hilarious.
Surely he doesn't get a Broncos.
No, he'll be on like Louisiana football TV or something like
Perfect.
that doing Saints games.
No, he'll get picked up by someone. I'm telling you. He will.
It won't be like full media, but he'll be doing something. He's funny.
Even Cam Newton's now with first take.
Yeah.
Off the back of his podcast, bro.
So it's kind of real media. Cam Newton's doing. He's doing first take. Let's not storm the castle for
That's
first take.
ESPN, bro.
being
Come on,
real.
what are you talking about?
Yeah, there's lots of things.
A lot of opinion based.
Doesn't matter. He's still on national
I agree.
TV, bro.
I agree. I love Cam Newton. Please come on the show. God, I
Shout
love
out to
him.
Cam.
He's actually a very likable guy, Cam Newton. He's
You hate him. No, don't you change up. Don't you come back from Bali.
I've never
I didn't say I liked him.
I've loved him.
I
Always.
said he's a very likable guy.
Yeah.
His smile, his personality. I can just see through the bullshit. I'm not one of the girls that want to fuck him, unfortunately, so I can see through it.
Cap.
I can see.
Cap.
I might let him hit it. hit me up, Cam. We never know.
There it is.
Next topic. Saints go to a new low as the Panthers beat them.
This is got to be the worst loss of the season, doesn't it?
Well, it cost their coach his job. Dennis Allen has
As it
now
should,
been
because he's a
fired.
terrible coach.
Second
is a
time he's
bad
been fired with Derek Carr as his quarterback.
Really? That's right. Yes.
Derek Carr's the only starting quarterback in the history of the NFL to have 2 coaches fired in season.
And the
while
only
he's
one to
the
lose to
starter.
31 teams.
Yes.
Yes, you know who he plays in 2 weeks?
Yeah, the Raiders. Yeah, I've seen that. That could be 32.
Do you know?
And the thing is, he's not even that bad. He's actually decent, man.
I like
Come
Derek Carr.
on.
Can I just want to quick on a bit of a tangent on this game? Michael Thomas tweeting about Derek
Yeah,
Carr.
what was that? I wanted to bring that up.
Basically tweeting that Derek Carr got Chris Olave injured. Michael Thomas, whoever his carers are, take his phone back off him.
But it's not even just him tweeting. Like all the players came out and were tweeting about like not
too.
just
After
him.
the game, like a lot of current players
it
were
was
saying shit as well. Yeah,
like players on the team tweeting about how bad the situation is.
Yeah.
It looked like a coordinated event, or just to talk shit about
one of the big
the team.
was it one of the big D tackles was like shit? Put me in a quarterback or something.
I don't know.
Cam Johnson?
If you think Derek
Cam
Carr's-
Jordan.
Cam
Jordan.
Jordan.
That was the DN. He was apologizing to the fans, saying like, "This is like the worst loss of my career."
Yeah.
Basically.
But are the Panthers that bad?
Yeah.
I don't know if the Panthers on paper are that much worse than the Saints.
Well,
Honestly.
their schedule, their records are the same. So
Take Kamara off the Saints team. Who have they got?
nobody.
Olave, who was hurt.
Yeah.
They've got no offensive lineman playing for poor Derek Carr. Like I said, I don't think Derek Carr's the greatest quarterback ever, but I think he has been scapegoated by the Raiders. I think he's being scapegoated by the Saints now.
Yep.
They are untalented and they're not very good.
Yep.
And he put them a couple of times the opportunity to win that game. He took the lead a couple of times.
Yep.
Like, hey, Cam Jordan, maybe don't let Bryce Young drive the field for a game-winning touchdown.
Yeah.
If you're such a fucking good player that
Yeah.
you should be in at quarterback. Maybe focus on doing your job perfect before you start throwing shots at other people in your
fair.
organization.
Fair.
That'd be my and if I and Derek Carr's response to Michael Thomas in
That
the
was
press
all
conference,
class, bro.
absolute pro. He said Michael Thomas has never liked me. I don't know why. I have never heard people say they don't like Derek Carr.
Yeah.
So like
He
you
seems
can
like
not like
such a
the
cool
way
guy.
he's playing.
Yeah.
That's fine. But you to make it a personal thing,
It was very personal.
it's what teammates don't do.
Yeah.
Good teams don't. I have played with many people that I don't like, and I would never.
I've been coached by
call
people
the-
I don't like.
Yeah, I've been involved with many people I don't like in my playing in any sport.
But I've never
right?
let it get in the way.
You don't let it get in the way of your
No,
team.
no.
You suck it up. You understand. I've worked with people I don't like.
Yep.
And you know what? It's work. You do your job and you shut the fuck up.
Was Scotty one of them?
Never. I love that boy. Can't
Shout
wait
out,
to see
shout
you
out.
tomorrow night, Scotty. I love you.
Do you realize Michael Thomas was the number one pick in like that top 100? He was the number one 5 years ago.
He broke almost every receiving record
Yeah.
4 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That was the year he was
Yeah.
like number one player.
And now he can't, like, Mike, you can't get on a roster.
Yep.
The Saints are so injured and shit that they won't even sign you.
Yeah.
The Panthers won't. They have Adam Thielen corpsing it up out there,
Yeah.
and they won't even sign
Odell
you.
Beckham's still playing for the Dolphins,
Exactly.
getting paid.
Yeah. Like, you're 28 years old or 29 years old, and you can't even get a... Des Bryant was on a roster last year.
Yeah.
This dude can't get on a fucking roster, and he's going to shoot shots. As I said, Cam Jordan, you want to shoot shots at your quarterback? Do your job perfect
Yeah.
first. And that's if I'm Derek Carr, I'm sitting there going, hey, guys, we all lost to the Panthers.
Yeah.
We all lost to them.
The Saints.
You
lost,
let Frodo Baggins score 3
Hey,
touchdowns.
yeah,
on you.
can I switch positive? Because this is a new character arc for me.
I'm scared.
I
negative to
don't
positive.
like this. I'm scared.
Hey, Hobbit Boy looked okay.
He had some good moments.
He looked
He
okay.
had some good moments. Yeah, he's
I think this is what I think. I actually thought about this while I was watching the game. Right, like obviously Carolina are bereft of talent across the board.
agreed.
Right, so that's why that's part of the reason why he's performing so poorly.
Yep.
Obviously, a lot has to do with his physical attributes. We've gone over that, whatever.
Yep.
But when he was at Alabama, apologies. When he was at Alabama, he had talent everywhere, and he was performing really well.
Yeah.
So if they can get a bit more talent in the building, maybe he will be okay.
Get a run game actually working.
Does anyone
be a
want to
good quarterback.
go to? Does anyone want to be a talent at
That's
Carolina?
the
though?
issue.
That's why I think Bryce Young's best chance is, I'm calling it the Darnold rule forever now, is
It's
getting
the Darnold
yourself
maker, yeah.
somewhere else
Get out of there.
where team, because, you know, and I don't know if we're talking about the Vikings next, but the Vikings had a pretty ho-hum game where they should have won by 30 points. They had 2
Well, we
missed
can-
field goals, dumb turnovers in the red zone. But do you know what the difference was when the game was on the line? What did Darnold do in the second half? Passed for 3 touchdowns,
Yep.
including a 2-minute drill
Yep.
to score a touchdown to ice the game.
Yep.
That is what good quarterbacks do. And I think Darnold has become that guy. He can have a dirty game like that where he has a red zone pick. They falter in the red zone a couple of times. They miss both those field goals. They should be up by 14 points at halftime, but instead they're down by 3. And him just go and shout out to Kevin O'Connell, who just keeps going, hey, Sam,
Throw the ball.
I got you, bro.
Yep.
You got Addison, you got Jefferson, you got TJ Hawkinson back now,
Yep.
who I'd forgotten played for him, and I'm glad he's back.
Yep.
You got Aaron Jones running the ball well. You got a good offensive line. Like they had their left tackle got injured, who was a really good Pro Bowl left tackle. I've forgotten his name now. He's a young guy.
The coaching staff have really put their faith in Darnold and said, no, you.
So what do
throw
they
the
do?
ball.
They go and trade for the Jags starting left
Yeah.
tackle, who's not a world beater, but they're like, well, we need a professional starting left tackle. They bring him in, they start him, and he did an okay job. He was better than some third string left tackle.
True.
That's a team that goes, we like what we've got, we like what we see, and we're going to keep trying to do the right things to win. And who would have thunk it? You actually start winning.
They're
some
winning
football
games. They're 6-2. They're winning games.
That's what I mean. Like I think the Vikings are a really well. I can't remember who they beat. All I know is that the Vikings were much better.
They beat the Colts.
The Colts, who
Colts, yeah.
again, and we don't have to go on this for long. If you think Richardson was the problem at Indianapolis with their offense, you're wrong.
He's part of the problem. He's not
I
the
agree.
whole problem.
But Flacco, they thought, oh, we'll go to Flacco. He'll be able to read things and make things happen. They can't block. They can't pass protect.
Can't read if you can't pass, bro.
Exactly.
You can't if you can't stand up in a pocket. You can't read shit.
I agree.
And we speak about being devout of receiver talent. Like Antonio Pittman's hurt. He's literally playing injured. We all know that.
Yep.
And there's nothing they can do about it till the offseason. It's one of those ones he's going to need to have a surgery in the offseason to fix him up.
Sure.
So he's got to play through it this year. So he's limited.
In Michael Pittman.
And then you've Michael Pittman. Sorry, it's Michael Pittman Jr. or
Michael Pittman
yeah, his
Jr.,
dad
yeah.
was the running back for the Bucks. That's what I mean. Like you've got guys that they're not like I would argue that their offensive group is only as talented as the Saints and the Panthers.
Right.
Like they're not a very talented group. So Flacco couldn't get it done with them. You stop the running game and you don't let the running back whose name I
Taylor,
always
Jonathan
forget,
Taylor.
Jonathan Taylor get going, and all of a sudden the Colts are a pretty bad offense.
Yeah.
They didn't score an offensive touchdown. They had a pick six for a
Yeah.
touchdown.
Yep.
That's the only score they had. So
Yeah, they didn't look like moving the ball.
they
at
looked
all.
terrible.
They looked terrible.
So
but Vikings defense is good though.
So what do you do now? Because I think that the best thing they can do is keep playing Anthony Richardson, but I also think that Anthony Richardson isn't what's best for the team right now either. So they're in a really hard position, the Colts.
Yeah, but they got to work. They got to work it out because they've spent a really high draft pick drafting this kid. So they got to work it out.
Well, the other thing I want to know is, all right, you're struggling to play offense. Why haven't you got some plays where Anthony Richardson's involved at the very least?
Yeah, like a package. Yeah.
Why isn't there some running packages, some read option packages? That's bad. That's bad offense. Like you can start Flacco and have him
You know what
play
I think
most
they
of the
thought?
game.
You know what I think they thought?
The
was gonna
Flacco just
happen?
come in and save him.
Well, no, but it go 2 steps back. I think when they drafted this kid, they thought, oh yeah, he's big, he's a runner, he's raw. We've brought Steichen over from Philly.
Yeah.
They thought it was all the magic juices were just going to happen. It was going to be something similar to what happened with Hurts and Steichen together when we went on that Super Bowl run.
Yep.
That like Steichen in the building, Rich in the building, the juices are going to flow, and all of a sudden he's going to turn into an All-Pro quarterback, and it just hasn't happened.
But like Jalen Hurts has had his very downs at parts this year. He's only just started getting going the last few weeks.
Yeah, why? Because we've got the run game going.
Because they're running the ball well
Yeah.
and they're playing offensive line well, and he's got some receivers back. He's got Adams and Brown back, and all of a sudden they've got some productivity out
Yeah.
there. And Saquon is playing out of his fucking mind.
Should we?
Yeah, we can go to there, but so I mean, like you can't just go, "Oh, Richardson's the problem," because Hurts has had some horrible games.
Yeah,
It's
he's-
going to happen. The
He
nature
had a
of the
really poor start to the year.
exactly the nature of the quarterback position isn't just you're really good. You need to just do everything. I'm going to make an offense and you're going to run it and it's going to be perfect. You actually have to coach these guys.
Yeah.
And Anthony Richardson has played not a lot of college football. He didn't play much in his rookie year, and he was hurt a lot of the offseason.
But that's what I mean. Like the point, I agree with everything you've said. But the
Yeah.
point I'm making is then, with all that considered, you shouldn't have drafted him number 4 or number 5.
Maybe.
That's the point I'm making. Draft him in the second round, no problem.
Well, he wouldn't,
He wouldn't have been there.
He was
Someone
going.
would have taken him.
Someone was taken.
Yeah, but that's my point. Holistically, that is the wrong way to draft.
No, the right way for him, the best thing that could have happened to him would have been the Lamar treatment, where no one wanted him and he fell to the end of the first round.
Yeah.
and
Yes.
To a good
team
team.
gets him.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
There's a reason
Rather
they'll
than
pick him
rolling him
4
out
for a
with a
reason.
substandard team and just expecting that he's going to be your messiah. Like,
Yeah.
it ain't going to happen.
Well, and I don't feel sorry for the Colts. They had Peyton Manning, who literally was Peyton Manning is, if not the best quarterback ever, one of the best quarterbacks ever. Probably Brady's the best player ever, but I think Peyton Manning as a quarterback is one of the best quarterbacks
Yeah,
ever.
it's arguable.
He
It's definitely
he
you can
carried
argue
that team for 14 years,
Oh.
and then they rolled into Andrew Luck.
I'm going to struggle to find better than he. Andrew Luck might be better.
And then
Might have been
Andrew
better.
Luck rolled in,
Yeah.
who Andrew Luck was the unicorn.
Yeah.
But it's the same situation. They couldn't protect him, so
Exactly.
he got hit. Didn't want to play anymore.
Spot on.
The only difference between Anthony Richardson and Luck is that Luck was so damn good
One
that
to
he
one.
was able to carry crappy teams, because Andrew Luck
Correct.
will be the ultimate. We will never know how good he could have been.
Yep.
Like, and I already think he's a Hall of Famer. I think he should be a Hall of Famer, but I don't think we truly know how good he could have been.
I
I
think,
think Andrew Luck should be. He was
They'll never put him in.
a top 5 quarterback for 5 years easily.
No, they would never put him in.
Yeah, maybe.
if Luck was able to
We'll
stay
never know.
healthy and was able to play for 10 years, like he'd probably go down.
I would argue if
go
the
down
Col-
as the best ever.
if the Colts were able to keep him healthy and do the right
But
things.
it's
They
like,
probably did
like
as
I'm
well.
saying, like they couldn't keep. I forget his name already. Like they couldn't keep Luck healthy.
Yep.
So now they're trying to do the exact same thing with a fucking more athletic quarterback. keep him fucking healthy. Keep him standing up.
Yeah. Hey,
And
let's,
watch how
let's
much he
get the,
grow as a quarterback.
yeah, let's get a better athlete so then he can't get hit. Let's just keep getting
Yeah.
better athletes. Like, it doesn't work like that. Like,
Yeah, he
the
runs
Colts are as,
he runs a 4-5,
much to
but
blame as
doesn't
anyone.
Going
matter.
back to what we said before about Harbaugh,
Yeah.
he walked into the building. He's like, "I've got my guy.
I'm going to keep him healthy.
I'm taking Joel in the first round.
Yeah.
I'm taking him, and he's going to be there with him, and they're going to be playing together for 10 years.
Remember
That's
all the speculation in the offseason about them trade? They're going to trade Herbert and get McCarthy. And
What?
That was never. It was all smoke and mirrors. He was
No.
like, "I'm taking Joe off.
I'm taking a tackle, man.
Because all
Like,
these idiots are going to start reaching up for these QBs, and
Yeah.
I am going to let the best player in the draft fall at my
quite
life.
literally
Yeah.
the best player in the draft.
Yeah, maybe
'Cause
the
he's got
best
his
player in the
guy.
last 3 or 4 drafts. That's
Yeah.
how good he is.
And he's going to be an all-pro for 10 years.
Yep.
Minimum.
Yep, I agree.
Spot on.
Let's get on to Burrow throws for 5 touchdowns to keep Bengals season alive.
Burrow,
Hell of a performance, man.
he was very good.
Hell of a
I
performance.
don't know what more to say on it. He's, I can't remember who they played now. Was it the Rams? No,
No, they played the Raiders.
Raiders.
The Raiders are a joke. I got one that I know. I feel like we attack this guy every week, but Max Crosby, going early,
Shut up and dribble.
jumping the snap, right? Jump the snap early, gets blown dead because it's unevaded to the quarterback.
Yep.
So what does he do? Runs and drills Joe Burrow in the
Yeah, I know.
backfield,
What a
and then gets
dickhead.
up and goes, "What? What?" It's like, mate, the play was blown dead,
Dead.
because you were the only one running. The tackle hadn't even got out of his stand. You know, when you're a DN, you know when you've gone early. Of
course, no one else was moving.
He was like, in the moment, I couldn't tell. Like, Cap, you're a piece of shit, and you want it. And then what does Joe Burrow do? He gets his 15 yards, a bang touchdown.
Yep.
And tells him, like, shut up, Crosby.
So it should.
Like, Crosby has become. He always had this in him.
He's a
But
fucking
previous
dog.
teams,
He's a dirty dog.
They kept him under control, right? Antonio Pierce has zero control of this
Yeah.
team, and it is so clear to me why Crosby flew the flag so hard for Antonio
Yeah,
Pierce.
because he can carry on being a dickhead.
Because you know what? You know when your kids want to go to the grandparents because the grandparents do whatever the hell they want. They eat what they want. They do what they want. And you're like, that's cool. Go to the grandparents for a night. Go nuts. There's
Yeah.
no rules there. I don't
Because it's
mind.
only for a night,
Yeah.
not for forever.
And they thought, oh, I wish I could live with Pa.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you'd only love it for about a week though, and then you'd
Yeah.
be like, I want some vegetables and to go to bed in the
Yeah,
normal
yeah,
time.
maybe.
Maybe. That's what I mean. That's what Crosby is. He was flying the flag because like, this dude's gonna let me do whatever the fuck I want.
Yep.
I want Antonio Pierce because he's gonna let me be the biggest asshole
Be the biggest
in the
piece of
world,
shit ever.
and not only not tell me off for it, he's gonna praise me and
He's
say
gonna
that it's
encourage
part
it.
of my
Yep.
my personality.
Yep. And he is.
100%. And it's bullshit. It's bullshit.
I agree.
And if if Crosby went, I don't think the Lions would want a guy like Crosby. Because
No.
Dan Campbell would rip him apart. He would destroy Max
Yeah.
Crosby. I got the feeling that other teams would be like, we don't want that sort of guy on our team.
Yeah.
He's a bad
Clearly
culture
he's
guy.
talented. Clearly
Oh,
he's talented.
very
Like, we're not discussing that.
No, extremely talented. One of the best DNs in football. But he's also, I think he's 30 now, Max Crosby.
I
as
think
well. He's not young.
you say one of the best DNs in football. I think he's just overrated.
Oh,
He's overrated. Yeah, he gets QB hits, but he's one of the biggest dogs in football.
he's cheap as hell.
You saw it on the quarterback show. He just hits Mahomes constantly, just hits him, just punches him. What the fuck are you doing?
Fuck Mahomes.
No, you're not, no, but you're not doing anything by doing that.
No, you're just pissing him off and wanting them to beat you more.
Exactly right. You're giving ammunition to all these quarterbacks who are NFL quarterbacks. You weren't a good college player. You were a scrawny white kid that had a drug problem,
But loved the meth.
came back. Yeah, massive
Bit of
man.
the glass Barbie for the boys.
Oh,
Love a glass Barbie.
That's his whole story. He's just a fucking former addict.
Yep.
Who has lost his addiction, quitter, then hit the gym hard, and come back, and now he's a fucking beast. It doesn't mean shit. You're not that good of a footballer. If you were a good footballer, you wouldn't have had to fucking go through all this trouble to come back and fucking play football.
And if you're a good footballer, you don't need to hit people, mate.
You don't need
Yeah,
to do
you
it.
just-
The best player, like, does Von Miller ever do? Did Von Miller ever do
Nah.
shit like that? Did DeMarcus Ware ever do stuff like that?
No.
Like,
No,
yeah.
he just made plays all the time.
You look at his stats. He had
Reggie
three.
White never did that shit. He just blew people up,
Yeah.
bro.
He had 3 quarterbacks. He's a tackle for loss. He only had 3 tackles for the game.
Yeah.
So he actually didn't do much in the game.
He's a splash player.
He's very much a splash player, but you can just fucking negate him. And if you
Yeah,
negate
yeah.
Well, he
him-
hasn't made their defense good,
No, that's what I mean. He's
and neither's Wilcox, which I love because that guy's a tool too. I love that he's not good anymore.
that's what I'm saying though. Like if he was on
What
a
do we
good team,
think
he would
about?
be good.
What do we think about the Bengals? Are they still alive?
Yeah, I think so. I think they can steal a seed.
I think as long as Burrow is upright, they're alive.
Well, speak of like under the radar guys, Joe Burrow is an
Oh,
under
Bo
the radar MVP.
He's playing really well.
The Bengals not winning games this year is almost an anomaly because on
Yeah.
paper they're good in so many categories
Yes.
that lead to being good football.
Yes.
They're better than the Chiefs in so many categories. Yet the Chiefs are 8-0 and they're what 4-5.
4
are
and
they?
5, yep.
4-5. But again, they're 4-5. They win the next 2 games. They're at 6-5. They're
Okay.
right back in the race.
I'm gonna read you Joe Burrow's season stats.
Okay,
All right, 70% completion percentage,
Mm-hmm.
2,200 yards
elite,
at an average of 7.4,
elite.
averaging 250 yards a game,
Yep,
20 TDs,
Yep.
4 interceptions.
that's elite numbers.
Yeah,
Like
and also he's been sacked 20 times.
Right.
That's a lot, bro.
So I mean, like they're a terrible offensive line, but
Yeah.
that's their choice. They keep making that decision, and that's on them. They'll have to live with that.
And a QB rating of 108.
Yeah,
That's very high.
It's been his quarterback plays. If he was on the if they were the Chiefs and they were 8-0, he would be the MVP. Right?
Yeah.
Like, they'd be like,
Which
Burrow's
you've
MVP.
said this before. Narrative.
Narrative, yeah. And I really like I do like the Bengals, and I want them to have success. And I like Joe Burrow.
I like Joe Burrow too.
There's something about him. He's got that swag about him. He's very well liked by his teammates. He's a team guy.
He plays hard, man.
Yeah.
He plays hurt. He plays hard. Like that's what you want from a leader.
He makes mistakes, but again, he's got that mentality of I'm going to make mistakes because I'm going to win your games.
It's a good Thursday
Yeah.
night game this week of Ravens versus Bengals.
Ooh.
It's a fucking cracking Thursday night game.
See, it won't surprise me if the Bengals
Division
win
game
that. Have
too.
you played the Bengals yet?
Yeah,
beat him.
Lamar Jackson kicked the shit out of him.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember that. Yeah.
He
So
bet-
it'll be good. Like I think
He dribbled that guy's head like a basketball.
that's right. He made him miss 3 times in the same play.
Nah, twice. Yeah,
Twice and threw the touchdown to Likely.
yeah,
Was that that play?
he stiff armed him, then bounced him like a
That's
basketball.
right. It's so good. That was Hubbard too, who's a good TN.
Yeah, fucking
He's a good player.
like 280 kgs.
Yeah, he's a gun. All right, let's talk Commanders.
Good road win.
the
Division.
Cars.
Road division.
Road
win.
division win. They count. They're worth gold.
What surprised me with the Commanders is how good their defense is with really not much talent on it.
They're just playing hard.
They just got all the Cowboys rejects. Maybe they weren't the rejects. Maybe the rejects are still
Maybe
with
the
Cowboys.
rejects are the ones on the Cowboys.
Well, if you go off performances, you might be right there.
Yeah.
man.
But Dan Quinn, like I said, you always get that new coach boost, and the Washington football team are definitely utilizing that new coach boost.
Jane Daniels got a lot to do with it too.
Yeah, and as you said,
Big injection of energy into
you've
that.
got rookie
building.
quarterback boost and new coach boost.
Yep.
It's good.
It's a thing.
I don't know if they're as good as what everyone thinks they are. I think they're good. I don't know if they're like, are they much better than the Denver Broncos?
Well, their record suggests that they would be.
Yeah, I know, but records a lot of things. It also comes down to who you play. They haven't played many good teams.
I'm just saying, like, that's the game they have to kick the shit out of the Giants, so
yeah,
and
they
win
did.
by 15. They won by 4.
That's what I mean. Like, are they much better than the Cowboys? Probably not. They're probably around the same, but they've just played some easier teams.
Yeah,
Are
but
they much better than Denver? Probably not.
Big division game coming up this week.
Eagles, is it Eagles, Washington?
Eagles in Philly.
I would almost say, like,
The winner of that wins the division.
you know, I say this with all hate in my heart. The Eagles are going to kick the living shit out of Washington. this
Geez, I
week.
hope so. That'd be really nice.
I think they will.
Yeah.
I do not think they're as good as the Eagles in any way.
On paper, talent wise, no. We're a much better team on paper.
Yeah,
But it's all about execution.
I don't think Washington are that good. And I said I'd be happy to
Is that
find out.
2 weeks'
wrong.
time, yeah?
They're going to buy.
No, so Eagles play Cowboys next week.
Yeah.
So
I'm saying
Eagles play Cowboys,
because Washington
and then-
got the bye, and then after the bye, it's
Is it Eagles Cowboys this week? Is it
Yep.
with no Dak?
oh no, in Eagles Cowboys
Eagles Cowboys week 10
in Dallas.
in Dallas.
Yeah, without Dak, that'd be fun. You better not lose that.
Trey Lance, baby. Trey time.
Well,
No,
what do you want?
no, they're backups.
Do you want to go to the Cowboys?
Trey Lance,
can.
back up.
Let's go to the Cowboys.
Do you have to keep talking about the Cowboys? I'm so over them now. what do we want to talk
So
about? Prescott's hurt. Put the season on ice. Fire McCarthy.
Is Cooper
get
Rush your quarterback?
Yeah, Cooper Rush. He's much better than Trey Lance.
yeah,
Cooper
like-
Rush is a good backup. He's solid.
Let Lance cook.
So
Let him cook.
obviously,
they tried
Dak's done
in
his
San
hamstring.
Fran.
He's going to be out for what? Probably 3 or 4 games. They're gonna sit him as long as they possibly can, just like they're doing with Micah.
Season's on ice.
They fork the Cowboys, right?
I said last week. I wasn't on the show last week, but I said if they lose to the 49ers last week, season's over.
Yeah,
Whoever lost that game last week at the 49ers and the Cowboys, season was over.
no playoffs. Yeah.
I think so.
Do
And-
you?
Yeah.
I heard Chris Broussard talk about this, and I almost summarily disagree with everything he said, just because I think he's a bit of a goose.
Mm.
But he made the point of like, do you start Trey Lance just to see what you got? And I didn't hate it as an idea.
Why not?
Because you know what Cooper Rush is going to give you. You know what he's going to give you.
Why don't you start Trey Lance, and if he plays really well, maybe you can then
get some trade
you can
value.
trade him somewhere.
Yeah. And like get a 3rd round pick for him or something.
Yeah,
Because you're
you
not
can
getting
get
anything in the offseason.
No,
Try
and
to trade him
he's out
away.
of contract at the end of the year, so why
Right.
not? Like Cooper Rush he's a good backup, and you'd leave him on the roster for next year to be your
Sure.
backup.
Sure. That's
Why
my
not
point.
throw the kid in there and let him see what he can do?
Give him 2 or 3 stars and just go here.
It's not a fun environment because the offensive line's pretty bad, and other than CD Lamb, they're
CD's out this week as well.
yeah, he's out. They're pretty
Yeah.
dysfunctional offense.
That's a really winnable game for us on the road as well. We really should win that
you
game.
should win it by 30.
Well, I don't know about 30, but
Mate, we can't stop the run. We're
yeah, that's what I was going to say. If we can run the ball well like we have been, I think it's going to be a pretty short
the
game.
Cowboys are forward. Like unless something happens off field for the Cowboys this year, I'm not,
what?
and please don't think
Like
I'm
what?
saying this is like I don't know, a big trade or
think
or they fire McCarthy. Like there's no point talking about them anymore.
Yeah.
Like
They're not relevant.
and I'm not
yeah.
saying this as like a bitter Cowboys fan because you guys know I'm not that sort of guy. I really don't care that much. I predicted this before the season started. I knew the end was coming for this.
I think
group
I had
of
him win the
players.
division too.
You did.
I'm pretty sure I did,
Yeah, you did as well. And I had the Eagles
Yeah.
winning it. Like no one thought Washington would be this good, but their run.
No, you called it early. You said they were going to be sneaky good.
They're
You did
just-
say that.
They're just not a good team. The Cowboys, and
Yeah.
they're not well coached. I said that. I'll say this for the last time. Their recipe needs to be fire McCarthy. Wait till the end of the season if you want. I don't care. But the conversation with Bill Belichick needs to start right now.
Yeah.
And Jerry Jones needs to understand that if he hires Bill Belichick, the rules are Bill Belichick runs that team. He has every call on it, and that's it. Stephen Jones, Will McClay, you keep drafting the good players and doing that because you do a great. Don't let Bill Belichick touch your draft room
Because he's not a
'Cause
good
he
GM.
can't draft?
He's a terrible GM, yeah.
Keep feeding him all these good players. Because in fairness, Tyler Guyton looks like he's going to be a really serviceable, good left
Good
tackle,
left
good
tackle,
starting left tackle.
Yep.
They keep drafting
Nah,
well.
Cowboys always draft well.
So, and then Jerry Jones, Bill Belichick tells him, I want to keep this guy, and he gives him the money.
Yep.
That's as far as his intake on the
Yep.
team goes. He goes, hey, Bill, do you want to keep Micah Parsons? Yes, pay him whatever it takes to keep him.
Yep.
We need him. Done. Here's my checkbook, Micah. You're a Cowboy for
Yeah.
life.
Yep.
That's all he needs to be doing. And if Jerry Jones, or it doesn't have to be Belichick, just someone like that. But if he can't accept that and can't change his mentality, it's going to be the same thing over and over again for the Cowboys. I'm not going to be excited about it. It's going to be they'll have some seasons where they'll put it all together and Prescott and CeeDee Lamb will have these massive years and they'll win the division and then they'll lose a playoff game.
Yeah.
Whether it comes in the first game or the third game or wherever it comes, they'll lose and they'll never have success because the problem is from the top down. And that's what it's going to be like for a long time until they solve it. It's like Washington without all the criminal activity without all the sexual assault shit that the other dude was doing.
Allegedly.
Which who knows? Jerry Jones
Allegedly.
might be doing that shit.
He's definitely
I'd
doing
love
that
for them
shit.
to find it so they could kick him out of the league too.
And on the flip side of that game, good win for the Falcons.
They're a good
And
team, the Falcons.
They're a good team. Cousins is looking really good, much more comfortable in that offense. Run game's going, and they've all but sewn up their division. One more win, and it's pretty much
Well,
sewn up.
they've now swept the Bucks last week.
Yes,
So they're 2.5 games clear of them no matter what.
yes.
Because they've swept them.
And the other two teams are Carolina and New Orleans.
Yeah,
So,
and are they 4 games clear of the division now?
no, they're two.
Two.
Two games.
So they're 2.5 games clear of the Bucks because they
They've
own
got
the
the
head.
tiebreaker. Yeah.
So I think and they're going to get to play Carolina and the Saints again.
Yeah.
So there's 2 more wins, and I think they're a good team.
Yes, they could easily get to 10 or 11 wins.
I think so too. I think their offense is really well built, good offensive line. I know Kyle Pitts. Oh, he only had 1 catch for 11 yards. I'm like, yeah, but last week he had 2 touchdowns and 90 yards. Like,
Yep.
it's a functional team where they don't care.
You don't have to rely on
Yeah, it's
one
like,
fucking receiver.
we would have to feed Kyle Pitts all day because he's going to get upset if he doesn't get yards. Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Mooney, they're going to all end the season with 1,000 yards and 7 or 8 touchdowns. And then Bijan Robinson's going to end the season with 1,200 to 1,400 rushing yards and probably 10 touchdowns.
Yeah.
That's a good offense.
Man, that's unbelievable. You take that. Any team would take
It's a
that.
good team.
Yeah.
And Kirk Cousins is a good player, and that's what he does. So now now what needs to happen for the Falcons is what's Kirk going to bring them when they come playoff time? Because that's
Sure.
always been the big question mark with
Sure.
Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
But I think they're a talented team.
But they got to get a seat at the table first, and then it looks
100%.
like they're well on their way.
The goal for any team in the preseason that's going, oh, our goal is Super Bowl, they're idiots. Your goal should always be to make the playoffs.
Compete.
Yeah,
and make
win your
playoffs.
division is
And
what
the,
it should
and the
be.
best way to make the playoffs is to win your division, and that's your goal. And then if by a point of the season, if the division becomes out of reach, it should be all right. Well, how do we get a wild card?
wild card,
We've
yeah.
got to get in, get a seat at the table, and then we got a chance. Look at Green Bay last year. Got a
True.
seat at the table at the 7th seed and blew the doors off, and then almost beat the 49ers.
Yeah.
like that should be the goal. Get into the playoffs and then see what happens from there.
Sure.
New York Giants from the 6th seed. They did it twice.
Yeah.
Beat the undefeated Patriots. Like seat at the table. I guarantee the Giants weren't going to that playoff that season going, we're Super Bowl or bust. They're
No,
going
of
in
course
being
not.
like, you know what? Let's make the playoffs and see what happens out
See
there.
what happens. Yeah.
2 Super Bowls now for Eli Manning.
You want to talk about the Pats? The Pats are gutless.
I'll tell you what, this can be real quick because the Pats are so irrelevant to my life and they pissed me off and I was so mad about it. So Drake May, rookie quarterback, struggles at times, but he looks like he's going to be all right?
I agree.
So he drives the field. The final play, time expires. He holds the ball for like 18 seconds, making DNs miss, dodging back and forth, waiting for an opening, and then hits a touchdown pass.
Yep.
And
As
then-
time expires.
As time expires,
Yep.
0 seconds left. They're playing the 1-6 Titans and they're the 2-5 Patriots or whatever it is.
Yeah.
They're both crap. They're both playing for top 5 picks this year.
Yep.
So what is who's the coach down there now? The Patriots coach.
Yeah.
I've forgotten his name. The old linebacker. Anyway, so what is
Mayo?
it? Mayo.
Mayo,
OJ,
thank you.
not OJ Mayo. He's the ex basketball player. Gerard Mayo. So what does he decide to do?
It goes for the extra
I'm
point.
going to kick an
Fired.
extra point.
Yep.
And then what do the Titans do? They go to overtime. They drive down the field, kick a field goal, and they pick off Drake May.
Yep.
You have all the momentum in the world.
Yep.
A young quarterback who's just made. That's going to be the play. Their end of the season, when
Yeah.
they're having their end of season night up their awards, that's going to be like the Patriots 2024 Player of the Year, Drake May.
Yeah.
He's going to get a little trophy for that play. That's how good it was.
That's
Yeah.
time.
Let him win the fucking game.
Yeah.
At least give him the opportunity. Yeah.
Who cares if you lose?
It doesn't matter.
Give him the
Yeah.
opportunity and go, you know what, kid? What play do you want to run? Mm-hmm. Hey, what do you want to do?
Yep.
Or, I don't know, hey, you're a big-time NFL quarterback now.
Yep.
What do you want to do to win the play? And if he
the
fails,
kid's electric.
yeah, and if he fails, you put your arm around him and go, hey, you know what? You're going to get plenty more opportunities to do that
Yeah,
sort
that's
of
it,
thing.
man. I 100% agree.
It's you're 0 for 1 in winning moments. You got plenty more to come in your career.
Yeah.
Gotta
You
give him
can
the opportunity.
sell it as such a good moment for your
Yeah.
for your franchise, but instead you tuck your dick and balls between your leg, you pretend you're a girl, and you walk off the field.
It's a
I
teaching
hate him.
It's a teaching moment for him, for May as well. Like just have experience to be in that moment.
100%.
is worth gold. Let
You
alone if you
reckon
win or
that
lose. Who
whole
cares?
offense weren't standing on that field going, let's win this
let's
bitch
win
now.
this fucking
Yeah.
game,
You,
yeah.
you
'Cause
sell it
also-
to your franchise of, we just put our rookie quarterback in this situation and win the game. He might win it with his legs. 'Cause
Yeah.
He had 95
Yeah.
rushing yards
Yep.
of 8 carries.
Yep,
Let
you're
him
right.
From
Rob.
the 3
Yeah,
yard
he ran the ball
line.
really well. He did.
Let
If you
him
can't see
cook.
Hunter Henry,
Yep.
fucking run it in yourself.
Yeah, man.
Dive at a pylon.
Just do a
cuz.
read option and pull it out and run.
If
Dive
I'm
on a
his
pylon.
coach, this season's over. You're not making the playoffs. It's not like you need to be conservative to make the playoffs. Like, your season's over. You're
Obviously.
playing to basically see what Drake May can be. That's the perfect opportunity. Because what if he wins it? That could have propelled him to be like, dude, you're a winner.
Yeah.
Like, all the media would have been, hey, Drake May's a winner.
Yep.
Go for 2 balls on the line. Winner. Look at that play he made to score the touchdown. And then he goes and wins it.
And
That's a kid we want to
Forget
get
about the
behind.
external, and you're right, but forget about all the external things that everyone says. Internally, he goes, "Hey, I can play in this fucking league.
That could
Like,
have
I can
been-
win in this league."
And that could have been Gerard Mayo's chance to build such a strong bond with his quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Instead, he
trust wise,
yeah,
yeah.
He allows that to be a fragment now.
Like-
that can be a fragment of
Yeah,
that
yeah,
I
relationship.
don't want to bring back to the Ravens, but Lamar Jackson has a clip from 3 or 4 seasons ago
Yeah.
where he's running off the field and Harbaugh goes, do you want to go for it? And he's, hell yeah, coach, let's go
yeah,
for
yeah,
it.
100%.
They
Yep.
go for
Yeah,
it.
I remember that.
They get the first down. They win the game.
Yep.
And it's trusting the quarterback to go, if he thinks he can do this, let's do it.
Let's do it.
What's the Philly with Nick Foles when he runs the line? Peterson
You wanna
goes,
go Philly
"Hey,
special?"
you want to go Philly?" And Nick Foles' face lights up. He's like, "Fuck
Yes.
yeah!"
Yes.
That was the game-winning moment in that. That changed
Hey.
that whole game.
In the Super Bowl.
In the Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
Yeah, bro.
So, like, why aren't you setting up your first-year quarterback for time? But what's going to happen in the
Yeah,
future?
yeah.
Balls on the line, win a game. Start putting him.
Is that a defensive coach mindset,
It's
though?
a gutless coach. Gerard Mayo will never be a good coach.
And let me
in
ask
this
you a
league.
question. If Matt LaFleur in that situation, is he going for 2?
Mate, he's not even blinking.
That's what I'm saying. That's my point.
I guarantee you, Jordan Love's not even coming off the field.
Yeah, it's my point.
I don't
It-
even think Mike McCarthy's not going for that.
It's a rookie.
I don't reckon Prescott would let him.
It's a rookie coach sort of situation of
It is gutless coaching.
oh, if I
That's a good
don't
point.
want to lose,
That's a good
I
point.
want to win, but I don't want to lose on this call because that's what the scrutiny will be all week. That I put my rookie quarterback in this situation and we lost. But internally, it's I put my rookie quarterback in this situation and I know he can handle this situation in the future.
Yeah,
Spoiler alert, he would have won so much more even if they lost in that moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
And he doesn't get it. Like, there was 50 million people watching that game all going, what are you doing? Like, and I know our jobs aren't on the line, but I would say he's put his job more on the line from doing what he did than just losing that game there if he had to. Because if you go to Robert Kraft and he's like, well, what'd you go for? He's like, hey, young quarterback, I'm giving him a chance.
Give him a
Yeah.
shot, yeah.
He's like, hey, Bobby, we're fucking 2-6, man.
Yeah, look,
I'm not sure if you can tell. We're not very good.
Yeah, we're forked, buddy.
We've got
Like,
no
we're done.
offensive talent. The kid just made a great drive and a great play. Like, I'm giving him a chance to win
The
us a football game.
Vault Studio podcast forked us 4 weeks ago.
It's like, mate, it's like this.
Hey, and obviously, they listen. Like it's
Yeah, of
obvious they
course.
listen to us.
100%.
Shout
Drake
Bobby
May
Kraft
does.
loves
Drake
us.
May, I would have let you go for it, kid.
out Drake, mate.
We already talked Cardinals a little bit. They punched the shit out of the Bears.
What's going on? What's going on with Chicago?
That shit. It's coaching. They need.
they-
They should have overhauled their coaching in the
Have they
offseason.
quit? Have they quit on Eberflus?
Absolutely.
It looks like they have.
Nah, they'll fire Eberflus in the offseason and they'll bring in a young coach. They've got the quarterback now. They've got some
I
talent.
reckon they're going to go for what's his name from Detroit.
Also, DJ Moore, Johnson.
DJ Moore walked off the
DJ
field.
Moore's a tool.
Why did he walk off the field?
Maybe he thought he stepped out of bounds. Like, I don't know. What are you doing?
He could have
dude?
been injured, but like if he stands in there, he probably takes 2 defenders.
ridiculous.
But like, it's not a new thing for DJ Moore. He sits by the bench by himself all the time, so he's an outsider.
Not a team guy.
Yeah, it looks that way. It does
Just a
look that
weird-
way.
It's a weird dude.
But like, it's not great.
And
But
then-
also, throw the ball.
And hey, Cardinals leading. I read that on their bingo card at week 8. Cardinals winning the West.
Yeah, they're certainly
They're
not bad.
2 games clear in the West.
Yeah, I was just checking the standings now. Actually,
Like they're a good team. They're hard bone. They're not like I love James Conner. Dude runs so hard.
Yeah.
And
story.
Kyler Murray is just, as I said, he's one of those quarterbacks that can make things happen for you.
Yeah.
Is he the best quarterback in the league? No. Like if you did a draft now and you were drafting all the quarterbacks, does he even go in the top 10?
maybe.
Maybe just.
But
Is he fun and can he win your football games? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he can.
Yep.
He's very entertaining.
But it's also a game of let's just not target one receiver the whole time.
Yeah.
Let's spread the ball out. If you're open, you're getting the ball.
What did Marvin Harrison do in this game?
Marvin Harris had 5 targets, 2 receptions for 34 yards.
He had a big game last week, so they just he
Trey McBride had 4 targets, 3 receptions, 35 yards.
should have had a touchdown too. Kyler Murray
Higgins
missed
had
him.
2 receptions for 34.
Just spreading it around.
hey, right now they're the 4 seed.
4 receivers are all over 20
They're doing
yards.
fine.
Yeah, I think if everyone, I don't think anyone thought the Cardinals would win the division this year, but the West is shaping up to be a really good run home.
I reckon if the Rams can, which we can talk about, we're going to talk about the Rams.
Well,
shortly.
let's talk about them now
Yeah.
because the Rams beat the Seahawks. They've swept the Seahawks now this year.
Yep.
The Seahawks keep just having terrible losses
Mm.
to teams they should. Like, not only, like, I know they got Nakua back. Nakua got ejected in the first quarter for
Yeah.
throwing a punch after a
That's an
deception.
ejected. You can get ejected for that?
Yeah.
I thought it was a personal foul.
No, he threw a clean punch to the face.
Damn,
Was
wrong
ejected.
league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you can do whatever you want in GV. Unless your name's initials are JA.
Shout out.
But no, I think the Seahawks are just compiling terrible losses.
Yeah.
They just lose to teams they should beat. I know Scotty will be
Yeah, but
sitting here.
the
right,
problem
he's-
is that
he's on the
Gino
West
just
Gate.
keeps turning the fucking ball over. Stop throwing all these picks, man.
But then he drives the field and gets the game-tying touchdown, and
I
they still
know.
fucking lose because Stafford's so good.
Stafford's so good. How good was that catch at one-handed to win it? Like shit, bro. That's
Well,
so good.
overtime was just a really good indicator of the difference between the Rams' mentality and Sean McVay's mentality and McDonald's mentality. The Seahawks get the ball first. They're real like boring offense. Oh, we run the ball. We do this. We do that.
Yep.
What does McVay do when he
He's
gets
going
ball?
for the throat,
Like, hey,
bro.
Staff, go nuts, boy.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
He knows what he's got.
You vet. Hey, launch it.
Yep.
Launch it. Yeah, keep talking. Let's fix the camera up quickly.
Yep. Yep. I 100% agree.
But that's the thing.
And
It's-
they're getting healthy at the right time. I think the Rams, if they can stay healthy, they could win. They could win that division.
But it's the same situation. Rookie quarterback, a rookie coach playing against a vet coach.
Yep.
A vet coaches want to go for that every time.
100%.
Let's kill a team. It's the same happening with the Chiefs today. It's Baker drove the field, took it to overtime, and then the Chiefs go, okay, we've got not 10 minutes on the clock.
Yep.
Slow it all down, but let's be methodical and let's kill a team.
And that's exactly what they did.
Like it's just too much too much in this league of just
Nice job, buddy.
trying to not lose, like playing to not lose instead of playing to win.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what the Seahawks are doing. And they've got a young coach, like McDonald's first time head coach. I get that. I just think the Seahawks are too talented to be doing what they're doing. I think they're a really good football team. JSN, Jackson Smith and Jigba, is such a good wide
Yeah, he's
receiver.
very good. I agree.
He's so fun to watch. And Gino is not a bad quarterback.
Too many turnovers, man.
Yeah, there's such a poor offensive line at times, not always.
Too many turnovers.
It's just
bro.
one
You
of those
can't.
teams where nothing seems to work out for them in games against teams they should beat. Does that make sense? That was kind of a long
Yes.
way. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're struggling. But the West is wild. The Rams are good. The Niners, obviously, the Niners had a bye this week. The Cardinals and the Seahawks. Any of them can win that.
Yeah.
But I think there's only one team coming out of the West.
For
'Cause
sure.
They're all,
Oh,
gonna-
yeah,
they're
for
all
sure.
beating
They're
each
all
other
mid.
up. And you know
They're
what?
all so
It
mid.
could very well be the Rams.
I agree. I think it will be.
And I wouldn't hate it. Stafford,
me neither.
playoff Stafford's the best Stafford.
Yep.
So we'll see how
They
it
get a
goes.
seat at the table. Ain't nobody wants to play them in the playoffs.
No. I think the other team that no one wants to play ever is the Lions.
Oh, bro. Yeah, because every time you play them, the next week you lose.
The Packers made a really big mistake this week. And I know the Lions are kind of becoming a bit swaggy. A couple of their guys had Green Bay suck T-shirts on. as
Yeah,
they
no,
were
St.
here.
Brown. Yep.
It's a division thing too. Like
It
they-
is.
and they've been beat up a
'Cause everyone was
lot
like, oh,
by
that's-
Green Bay over the years too.
Yeah, like that- that's
so now
not-
they're getting a little bit back of their own.
100%.
Too,
And remember when they beat them 2 years ago in the last game of the season to knock them out of the playoffs? And there's some history there. So
course.
let that sink in. But the difference between the Lions, right, they're not all bark
Yeah.
because they bark at you. And then they're like Rottweilers,
Yeah.
rabid Rottweilers on the field.
Yep.
Like Brian Branch getting ejected was the right call. That was a terrible cheap shot from him.
Sure.
He hit that receiver late and got ejected, and it was the right call. They can talk about all they want. It was an ejection. But I also think it kind of helped the Lions
Yeah.
because the Packers came out and tried to like fight fire with fire. It was like they wanted to be the dogs in the fight, and they realized really quickly, like, yeah, we're much smaller dogs than
Yeah.
this team. Like, you got Penei Sewell just picking dudes up and throwing them on their back. Like, the Lions are the most.
The
Complete-
physically toughest team in the NFL right now.
I want
by a mile.
Lions and Ravens in the Super Bowl so badly that it might kill me.
Yeah.
That would just be the best game of football I could imagine.
Yeah, that would be really good.
The two-headed monster of Montgomery and Gibbs, Laporta, like Jameson Williams is suspended for 2 weeks. That doesn't matter. We're still, Goff's still going to be productive. Doesn't matter. I don't care.
Yeah, for taking Viagra.
Is that what he got done
He was
for?
taking Viagra.
Why?
He just wanted to lay some wood.
Why is that a banned substance?
It's
must be a bad
it's technically it's a PED.
Really?
Yeah. He was
Well, it's
perform-
clearly a performance enhancer. Like that's the whole point of it.
Ocho
But, like,
Cinco-
in the bench room-
I don't even know what they are.
not in- it's in the bench room, not on the football field. Like,
Yeah, but Ocho Cinco used to do it.
He's done a
yeah,
lot of it.
he's on
Now he
record
makes,
saying it.
now he makes millions saying he did it.
So he'll be back.
Shout out to
I think Jameson Williamson's back next game. I think he's missed 2 now. By the way, they're just so well. Like Amon-Ra St. Brown's a really good player.
Yep.
Again, a meat and potatoes guy that no one wanted in the draft. Not a top 10 pick. Chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, I think he can name all. I think it was like 12 receivers that went before him.
Yeah,
He's
right.
one of those
And he like
psychos.
recites it before he goes out and plays and
shit.
trains. Like
Yeah, he's crazy.
He writes it down in his book constantly.
Apparently-
I've got no issue with that.
Apparently, he says it.
Anger
in
is a
the
brilliant motivator, boys. Trust
mirror.
me.
He says it into the mirror and shit like
Yeah,
that.
I love
It's
it.
full crazy.
I got
But,
no issue with that at all.
Hey, respect. You know what? They walk the walk. They talk the talk.
Yeah, they're a tough team, man.
I'm all on lines. I'm thoroughly enjoying the line, and they're fun to watch. And this wasn't like the Packers are not a bad team. This game was won early by the Lions, and it was won from physicality. And the Packers tried to come back late. Jordan Love's injury was definitely an impact on the game.
Yes.
He played. He toughed it out, which I was impressed with. But the Lions also, it's like they could see the blood in the water,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Hey, we know you're injured,
Yep.
Jordan." And what do you reckon? He just sent the dogs at him
course.
all day.
As he should.
Blitzed him hard, put him under pressure, forced him into bad mistakes. And that's what the Lions do. They don't need to score. They don't need Goff throwing 500 yards and 4 touchdowns every
No.
week. They can just find a way to win any way they want.
Yep.
It's going to be a punch in the mouth. We're all going to keep running the ball.
Yeah.
Yep, we can win that game. It's going to be a shootout. Yep, Goff, go nuts. We
Win
can
that
win that
game
game.
too, yeah.
Their
It's going to be a
defense
defensive
is
scheme.
so just stands up and just
Yeah.
punches you.
They're tough as nails, mate. And like Aaron Glenn, I don't know if anyone remembers Aaron Glenn as a player. That's exactly what he was like as a
Yep.
player. I remember when the Cowboys got him later in his career. It was him and Anthony Henry were the 2 corners. And like they wouldn't be able to play in today's NFL because they'd be like linebackers now. But they would just press up and just thug on wide receivers. And the receivers were like, yeah, like into the game, like, yeah, I got open a couple of times, but shit, was it worth it, man? I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
I don't know if it was.
that defense is just so bend not break. Like they gave up 411 yards
Yep.
and only gave up 2 scores.
And now they generate turnovers.
Yep.
That's their
It's-
new wrinkle. They're very good.
Yes.
Lions are. I think the Lions have. I have a feeling the trade deadline's Wednesday at like 11 o'clock our time. So tomorrow. Probably when you're listening to this, I have a real feeling the Lions are going to make one more big move.
For at the end,
Could be a
or
Myles Garrett. Could be a corner. I think there's something else coming because Dan Campbell's been kind of hinting at it. That there's
Sure.
something else.
sure.
So I
Yeah,
don't
he's been real coy in a couple of press conferences, hasn't he? Like, maybe we'll make a few calls and we'll see what
I
happens.
love
And
him.
da-da-da-da.
And you know what? That's a team that's all in. They're in the window.
As they should be.
Like-
If they're like
Mate.
clearly in the window, bro.
Throw the next 3 first-round picks away for.
I don't know
stuff.
about 3. 3's a stretch.
2, whatever you want to do. I don't like. They're in the window for 3 years
Would you
now.
do
with that
2
current-
first for Garrett?
Yes,
Yeah.
I do 3.
Yeah.
You do 3. 3's a lot, bro.
You got to remember, like, if they're in their window,
As long as you have to go on
three,
player.
those 3 are 25 to 32.
Fair.
That's
fair.
where they should be
Fair,
expecting
fair,
those
fair,
picks they're
fair,
giving
fair.
up.
And it's not just this year. Then bring him back next year. You've got him for 2 more years
With Hutchinson.
Aiden
Yeah,
Hutchinson.
yeah, that's a good point too.
Like shit, man. And they've got a lot of cap because Goff doesn't actually get. He's not actually paid that much. Goff.
And the rest of the team is like set pretty
Yeah.
much.
You've got.
Who do they have to sign?
They've got to sign the D tackle Aleem McLean, who's good, but noses don't cost you that much
Yeah.
unless you want to be idiot. If someone gives him a Wilcox deal like the Raiders, let him go.
Sure.
But there's not off the top of my head. There's not many guys. They're all very young. So they've got like Gibbs only in his 2nd year. Montgomery they just extended for 2 more years. So
Yes.
they've got him for 3 more years.
St. Brown, I just paid.
Like they've got a 3-year window with all these dudes. Jameson Williams, but in fairness to him, as well as as much as he's improved this year, I don't know whether you need to give him throw the checkbook at him.
Sure.
You can find another Jameson Williams.
Sure.
Like you could throw a rock in the NFL and find a guy that runs 4.44 and you
Yep.
play him in that role.
Yep.
So I don't think they're desperate to keep him, but they've still got him next year as well. Throw the book at if Garrett's available, which I find hard to believe. Throw the world at him
If you're Cleveland, do you make him available?
for 3 first-round picks. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's and then you cut Watson and you start fresh.
Yeah.
Say sorry, Garrett was a scapegoat. You don't re-sign a bunch of dudes. You bottom out. You be crap for a couple of years, but you got these 3 first-round picks and you just start building.
Start
again.
building again. Yeah.
Unfortunately, you probably fire Stefanski and bury the GM and you just start again.
That's how it is though.
Well, when they made that trade for Watson, it was either going to go, yep, he's a top 5 quarterback again. This is great.
Or
a
we're
good
all
team,"
getting fired. Yeah.
or we're all done. And it's a we're all getting fired situation.
They've got
unfortunately.
73 million in cap space next year.
Like, yeah.
They're-
That's what I mean.
They're 8th for cap space next year.
Throw
Wow.
it. Throw it.
And they're Super Bowl contenders.
Or
That's
if-
such a good team.
Or if you
man.
don't want to give up 3 first-round picks for Garrett, give up a first for Crosby, just for example, a first for a corner that's on a team doesn't want to be on a team,
Right.
and maybe another receiver or something. You know what I mean? Like just
Spread it out
go
more.
and get some. Just be like, what can we bring in this building to make us better, to win a Super Bowl?
So they've got 73 million and they've already paid for next year 42 players.
Yeah.
They've got to pay another 12 players for next
Wild.
year.
And
If you're
they're-
not,
and
if
they're in
you're
a
a
Super Bowl
contender,
window with that much cap,
people take.
and then the Saints are going to be 70 million over the cap, and they're going to have a top 5 pick.
Yep.
What the fuck?
Like Lattimore's a good example. Why aren't you calling the Saints? Because Lattimore's apparently not hurt and he's not playing.
Oh right, okay.
Why don't you call the Saints and go, hey, we'll take Lattimore off you, 2nd-round pick, dump him
Yeah.
to us. They're the things Detroit should be doing. Throwing a top, like getting
No
a
doubt,
top, a
no
top-
doubt they're
top
making
stock.
calls. They
Yeah.
should be.
I would say by the time people are listening to this, there's already been moves made before the deadline.
Sure.
Well, is that it?
One last game. They made it look hard, but the Eagles beat the Jags.
They did make it look hard.
I only want to say one thing on this game, and then you can talk as much as you want, George. Saquon Barkley's
Well, I just wanted to talk about Saquon.
that run where he jumped backwards
Did you
over
see
that
that?
guy.
How cool was that?
I've watched a lot of football in my life, like a sickening amount of football in my
That
life.
was incredible.
That is the most athletic play I've ever seen in my
The
entire
worst thing about that jump was if he doesn't even hurl him backwards, that run is still iconic because he shook the guy, like the first
the
tackle,
spin move, yeah.
out of his cleats. Like
The
I
guy-
think the guy's still picking
He's
up
still
his
picking up his
ankles.
fucking ankles. Yeah, he is 100%.
He had him dead for rights, and he just turned on a dime, got out of one, and got out of another one, and jumped backwards.
I'm really glad we signed Saquon because it's really opened up our offense, and it's really each week that goes by, he gets better and Hurts gets better
so
because
good.
what we're asking Hurts to do now is exactly what we should be asking Hurts to do, not throw the ball 40 times.
Yeah.
That's
be
not
a
that's not
high level
Hurts.
game manager.
Yeah.
That's
what
not
you're
Hurts.
asking him to do.
He's a power running
Yep.
quarterback. And that's what we should be using him to do, and that's what we are doing.
And you're playing
I'm very
without
happy to do that.
Mailata at the moment. He'll be back. I think he's back
Yes.
next week.
Yeah,
I don't know why they'd bring him back for the Cowboys. I'd rest him another week and get him right.
sure.
But yeah,
Yeah.
you've got some guys to come back too. I think the Eagles. I thought they were too talented to be crap,
Yeah,
and I really like Saquon Barkley. I actually do from a personality point of view, really like Jalen Hurts as well.
yeah.
He's a bit full of shit, and he's a
How
bit
is he full of shit? How?
Oh,
He's
just
very motivational.
very
quotes.
motivational quote guy. But this season, he had
He's
that
toned it
stint when he
down.
was doing it, and then it's like someone said to him, "Hey, shut up with the motivational shit," and he's just gone. Just turn it right down.
Yeah.
And I like him again now. He's just a respectable young man. His teammates like him. I still can't stand Sirianni, but
Nah.
in fairness to him, he has dialed it back a little bit
He
the
has dialed
last
it
few
back.
weeks.
That's what I was going to say. I was
Maybe
going to
someone
speak on
said
that.
something to it. And you've got to
No,
give credit
maybe,
when credit's
definitely someone
Yeah.
said something.
You're
to it.
not going to win a Super Bowl with him as your head coach, though.
due.
I don't
I don't care how good your list is and how good you're playing.
I don't disagree with that
I
statement.
think it just won't happen.
Unfortunately,
Those couple of fourth down calls were stupid,
Yeah.
going for it, and then
Well-
we kicked the extra point, and
Yep.
then they get the penalty, and then we go for two, and then we missed the
You try and
two.
do the tush
Yeah.
push on the
Like,
2 yard
why
line.
did he keep doing the 2-point thing where he then calls the timeout?
I don't know. He did it last week too.
I don't-
They're not going to jump, buddy. Like, what do you think? Like, just stop.
I don't get it.
Yeah,
I-
I
He
don't.
does some weird stuff.
The tush push is kind of dead at the moment as well.
As it should be.
Like it's
As
just
it should
not
be.
working. It's
Yeah,
not
'cause
91% of the time like it
That's
was.
what I mean. As it should be. There's no Malata there. Just give it away, bro.
we actually buried
don't
the
need
lead.
it.
We buried the lead. Can we talk about Jason Kelsey?
Oh yes.
Oh, he is such a dog. So I want to speak on this, right?
Yeah, no, I thought you would because this is
So
funny.
this is a symptom of society in general, right? So what's happened with this Gen Z generation is that they think that because they're holding a phone up like this and they're recording something, or they're holding a phone like this and they're typing, they think that there's no consequences to what I'm doing because I have this phone as a shield.
Yep.
That's not how this works.
No.
That's not real life. That's not the world. Out there in the world, in the streets, it's like I call it the law of the jungle. It's the law of the jungle. You're a grown man. You are responsible for your actions and you need to answer for your actions to another grown man. That's how the world works.
Did you see what shoes he was wearing as well when he did it?
No.
It's rule number 1. You don't fuck with somebody wearing Timbs.
Oh, Kelsey was wearing Tim's.
He had Timberlands on. You
Kelsey-
don't fuck
Kelsey's
with
all
somebody
business, bro.
wearing Timberlands.
So, and
He
the
didn't
other
give
thing I
a
want to talk
fuck.
about is like, you have to understand who you're dealing with as a man. Like this Gen Zer, this kid, he's giving shit and like trying to stir up Jason Kelsey. An all-round fantastic guy. I've not heard a single bad word ever said about Jason Kelsey by anyone ever. Right? So that's number one. So you're already pissing into the wind, stirring up a great all-round guy who everyone loves. You're already losing that.
Everyone's going to
battle,
defend him.
right?
Doesn't matter what he did.
No matter
Everyone
what he
was going
did.
to defend him.
And even now, like no one's thrown
No,
Jason Kelsey under the bus.
he
went
paid
on the
for the kid's
broadcast.
phone.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I fucking
he paid
would've.
for the phone.
Oh, he just said he's the money for your phone. He
Nah.
hasn't,
He
he
Gave
hasn't
him money for the
apologized
phone.
to him.
He went
Nah, I
on the
wouldn't give him
broadcast. He
shit.
apologized for his actions, and everyone's moved on.
Yeah.
Because he's a great all-round guy, and he's got a bank of 20 years worth of being a top bloke.
Yeah.
So that's number one. Number two, like you're a skinny little Gen Zer, and you're literally picking a fight with a basically a fucking savage.
Yeah.
Like the guy has been paid tens of millions of dollars to be a professional savage for the last 20 years, and not only has he done it, he's done it at the best ever at his position.
Yep.
Ever.
Agreed. Yep.
Ever. Read the room, buddy. What are you doing? What do you think is going to happen? Just because you're holding a phone up, what does that mean? You're going against basically like a shaved down bear. Like, what do you think you're doing? What do you
Did
think
you
is
see
going to happen?
He chased. It took every bit of Kelsey's fibre to not beat the fuck
That's
out
the
of him.
third thing I was going to say. Not only does that show the kid's character, piece of shit, and his parents should be embarrassed,
Yep.
it shows Kelsey's character because in that moment, if that was me,
Oh yeah, done.
because like Chelsea's a big, strong savage. I'm a big, strong savage too. Like true story.
Oh, wow. Did you know that?
Look,
He is savage.
yeah, I am. bro.
Classy, bougie, ratchet.
In that moment, if that was me, in that moment,
You would have punched him.
I'd have done something really bad.
I've been pissed off by a lot less things being said about
Yeah,
my
exactly.
brothers before.
Exactly.
You also don't like the
He's a
relationship.
big Swiftie, that's why. He was more mad about the Taylor Swift
The
comment.
relationship
Taylor Swift,
between
by the way.
brothers is it's if you have a
That's
good
what I-
relationship with your
yep.
brother, it's very hard. If you people who don't have brothers, it's very hard to explain.
Yep,
And
absolutely.
if you're an older brother, no matter what Travis is, Jason's his older brother.
Yeah.
No matter what part, I've got 2 younger brothers, and no matter what part in our lives we are, or who big or whatever it is, there's that same mentality of they're my little brothers.
Yeah.
And if something
And
was
he's
to
helped out
happen,
Travis over the years. He got him into school and all that good
100%.
stuff that we know about.
If something was to happen, your heckles go up,
Yeah,
and you're
man.
like, hey, no fucking way.
I mean,
You-
older brother, protective.
Yeah,
mode.
like you are not talking to him
it's a
like that.
thing.
I don't care if this guy's going to kill me. You're not talking to him like that. Like it's a weird thing to explain. It's like your kids. It's like a protective thing that you can't explain. So I understand and tell you that kid chasing him. He is lucky.
It's lucky to not be in hospital, bro.
He's lucky that he kind of came to and was like, I could really do something dumb here and ruin my life, and I'm not going to.
Not going to do that right now.
Because he could have beat the shit out of that kid, and it only would have ruined Jason Kelsey's
Correct.
life, unfortunately.
Correct.
Penn State, man.
And I'm glad the whole NFL community have actually rallied behind Jason Kelsey.
Yes.
And he said, I shouldn't have done it. I fought hate with hate. It was the wrong thing to do. I don't want to be like that. But also, everyone's like, no, we get it.
You were provoked.
Yeah. You
Quite
got
clearly.
pushed
It's on camera.
in your face. You smashed his phone. He apparently he bought him a new phone and said, here's your new phone.
Kids.
He hasn't
Kids.
apologized to him, and he won't
Listen to
apologize
this.
to
You
him.
know what? That wouldn't have happened if Joe Patino was still at Penn State coaching.
Kid would have been locked in a basement.
He would not be talking shit like that.
Gen Zers, remember, just because you have this in your hand does not mean it's a shield. You are answerable for your actions.
There's just like the shit that people says now. Like you,
People have gotten way too comfortable talking smack on the internet, bro. It's
like-
crazy. Like years ago when we were kids and we talked smack in the schoolyard, and we would have to answer for it. It's like
You would have
I
to be
say,
ready.
you say,
The
we
dude might
say,
punch you.
We're fighting.
Like,
That's
yeah,
it.
you'd have to say stuff. And sometimes you'd be like, I'm prepared to say this shit.
Knowing full well that it's going to be a fight.
that we're going to have a dust up
Yep.
here. Or if you're a real ass, like, I want to dust up here.
Yeah.
I'm going to say
Like,
some
I'm-
shit
I'm
'cause I
actively
wanna,
provoking a
I'm going to
dust up.
start
Yep.
a dust up
Yep.
here. These kids, they go home and jump on their computer in their bed and start
Yeah.
online cyberbullying
Fucking
people. Like,
nerds.
that is the problem. Because
100% agree.
You can't get punched in the face when
And
you're
that is
sitting
a
in your bed.
James,
societal.
that's you. You're a troll.
I am
You're
a
Facebook
cyberbully,
troll.
actually. I'm
That is a
cyberbully.
societal problem.
I think we all know that there's, if anything, I'll say worse in person than I will online.
Way worse.
Because there's no written
There's no
evidence.
record of it. It's he said, she said, and that's what you want.
That's what I live. I live in the he said era.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
All right, let's wrap it up, boys. Wrap it up the show.
All right, peace out,
Hey,
boys.
shout out to Jason Kelsey.
Yeah, Jason.
Red Cup betting this Sunday. Facebook Marketplace. Not Facebook.
Facebook Marketplace.
What are you
We were in a
selling?
marketplace.
James is touching on my watch.
Hey, maybe we
It's
should
fucking distracting me.
maybe we should sell a date with Brock as a promotional tool.
I'm just gonna text Sophie how much money I've got.
You can't afford me. Shout out, boys. Love you all. Thanks
Peace
for
out.
listening. Love you.